Glad you could join us for another episode here on Hope TV, the station where you look and live. This is Testify, and you're with me, Maria Makao Omondi. I appreciate you so much for always tuning in. Now, today, we have a very, very powerful and I would say impactful, at the same time, sad story here. But we are also glad that we're celebrating the healing of God, even in the midst of all this. This is none other than my guest, Pastor Jane Nganga. She's here to tell us a story of survival, a story of faith, and a story of healing. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you, Pastor.
I'm so happy. I feel so privileged to be here this morning.
You look so happy. It's like it's a norm for you to just be jovial.
Yeah. I'm here to testify of the goodness of the Lord.
Yes.
So I'm happy because I know my story will help someone there.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, what do you do on a day-to-day? What's your life like right now?
Okay. I do minister.
Okay.
And I'm also in business. Yeah, we deal with schools. We sell holiday homework books, exams and all that. But on Sundays, I go to church. If I get an opportunity to minister, I do minister.
Okay.
Yeah, I thank God.
And it's actually here at Sitam?
Yes, at Sitam Thika Road.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a prayer and welfare pastor in SAG. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how is that?
It's good. We get to interact with so many people. We help needy children. We visit homes and all that. Yeah.
Awesome.
SAG is like a pillar in our ministry, in our churches.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's just go to your story. But before we get there, because I know the story really is as we get to the marriage bit, let's talk about you as a child. You growing up, how was that? And are you the first one, second one?
I'm the fifth born in our family.
A family of?
A family of 6.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, Jane Nganga was born in Nanyuki. That time my dad and my mom used to live in Nanyuki, but I was born in Mathari Hospital, but they used to live in Nanyuki.
All right.
That was back in 1979.
Oh.
I'm that old. I'm 43. I'll be 43 years old in September this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't even look the grace and the glory of God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So say fast forward, you go to school, you clear school, you're done with high school. Do you come to Nairobi? Do you go to campus? What happens?
Yeah, this is what happened after 2 years. I was barely 2.5 years. My mom and dad, they separated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they separated, and my dad remarried. Mom didn't have a choice but to take us home to our village in Gilgil, and she left to town. She left us with our grandparents.
All right.
Yeah, my grandmother, my grandfather had 2 wives. So we were left with our mother to my mom. She was mentally retarded somehow.
Wow.
So it wasn't an easy journey because my dad was an OCPD. My mom was a business lady.
All right.
And then we were taken back to the village. And our village was this kind of, I don't know if you found that, I can see you're still very young. The Masquota village, you remember? After, what do they call it? After the Wazungus came and left, the village that the slaves used to live, that's where my grandfather and my grandmother used to live. So that's where we were taken back to.
Okay.
The thatched house, you remember them?
Yes, I think
Yes, that's the house that we were living in. From OCPD house to such kind of a life.
It must have been like culture shock for you.
It was, though me, I was young, so I didn't know what happened between my mom and my dad. But later, my sister and my brothers came to tell me what happened. So my mom got so depressed, so she couldn't take that. So she left us and she went to live in town where she never came back.
What?
Until 1992, that's when she came back.
How old were you?
I was around 12.
Wow. And now seeing her, you remember her? Like, would you do?
It wasn't easy because when she came, I used to desire. Because I was like, who is my mother and who is my dad? I've never seen them. Because at 2-year-old, after 5 years, they don't recall anything.
Sure.
So I forgot about them completely. And then the life we were living at village, we were like village slaves.
Wow.
People used to take advantage because we had no one to take care of us.
Wow.
Remember, my grandmother is It started somehow.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a drunkard, but not that much.
Okay.
But again, he also didn't care.
Like there's so little he can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so even schooling was an issue because there was no one to take us to school. I had to take myself to school.
No.
Yes. I remember one time we were taking care of my grandfather's cows and cattle. So as I was going to the field, I used to see children going to school, and I was like, when will this ever happen to me? I missed school, but I had no one to take me to school.
Yeah.
So one day I decided to leave the cows, and I went to school. And there was no admission or anything those days.
Yeah.
And then the classes were few, so we used to learn under the tree.
Wow.
Only the upper classes were allowed to get to class.
And there was no fee?
No fee, no nothing. So there was fee, but not on admission. So, and we were writing on the floor. Wow. You remember those days? Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so, and after that you go home. No one to ask you for a book or a pen. So that's how we got to school. The following day, I went back home that very day. And that was in the evening. I was really beaten by my grandmother. Because I left the cows and no one was there to take care of them. Actually, they took themselves back home.
Wow.
I found some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
So we had to go and look for the rest. Yeah. So after that, that's when my grandfather said, okay, if she wants to go to school, then let her go. Yeah. So the following day, I recruited my sister, the one I follow. Yeah. And I told her, you know what, let's go to school. Wow. That's how we joined. Up to class 7, we struggled a lot because from class 1, because we didn't go to nursery school, to class 1, 2.
Yeah.
And I never repeated, imagine.
Wow.
Yeah, I was that sharp. I was the prefect. In every class I go, I was...
Amazing.
Imagine, it was the favor.
Yeah.
So when we got to class 7, that year we joined class 7, that's when my mother came back home.
Okay. Now, in that time, class 7 is like the final year?
No.
We've already gotten into the 844?
Yeah, it was 844.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was in 1992.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was to join class 8, 1993. So when she came back, we were like, this is not the lady that we've been desiring to see. Oh. Yeah, because when she got to town, she started working as a barmaid. She was smoking and all that. So when she came home, you see, she wanted to keep that standard, the same life she used to live in town. So she started selling changa.
Oh. Wow.
And remember, she's still a drunkard. So we were the one to do the job.
Wow.
Yeah, we were the ones.
And was there remorse when she's coming back, like, oh, my baby, I miss you?
No, she had her life, a totally different life.
Yeah.
So when she came home, we were really ashamed. Like, for example, myself. You see, I'm like a star in school.
Oh.
But then, now he is your mother. She's drunkard. And even the teachers used to come to drink. You know, some teachers who drink. Wow. They used to come to our place because that's the only place they could find changa.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they couldn't go home. Ooh. They are there, and then we walk together as we go to school the following day in the morning.
Oh my God.
So it was such a shame. And our mom told us, now you have to drop. And then she gave birth. That very same year, she gave birth to another child. The 7th, now the one the 6th child. The 6th child.
Okay.
Now we had to drop. Because that's the same year my sister also gave birth. Actually, it was barely 1 month apart. Oh. So we had to drop, my sister to take care of my brother, and I to take care of my nephew.
Yeah.
Remember, we were still selling changa and all that, and I loved school so much. So I couldn't cope with that life. I had to run away from home.
Wow.
I woke up one day in the morning at around 4 or 5 a.m. And I walked to town.
So now you get to the market, Pastor, and you now meet this NYS lady?
Yes, I met this NYS lady. And she told me, yes, I was looking for a house girl. Do you know how to do the job? I told her, yes. And of course, I didn't know. Wow. I've lived in a matope house all through my life. I don't know. I've never seen a stone house. Okay, I've seen them, but I've never worked in a stone house. Yeah. So it was hard to do the job. and she really mistreated me for that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because she was like, you lied to me that you know how to do this job. And she told me your salary is 200 bob.
Per month?
Yeah, that's what I was getting, 200 bob. And my mom was there every end of the month to pick that money.
Are you serious?
Yes. And so because she used to beat me a lot, I decided, after 6 months, I decided, no, this job is not worth it.
Yeah.
I decided to go back home to the same lifestyle that I was running away from.
Yeah.
So I stayed there for a few months and I was like, no, I can't cope with this. So I had to run away again from home, and I went to the same town. But this time God was so gracious because I met this lady. She was so nice to me. Her name is Mama Koi. She was called Mama Koi. And I told her what I went through in the same house, the first job. And she really felt for me. And she decided, she told me, you know what, I'll be your angel. And for sure she was. She took care of me. I was actually not like a house girl in that house. Because we used to do everything together. She tells me, this is how you do this is how you cook chapati, this is. She taught me a lot. And she used to buy me clothes, take care of my hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's like a mother.
After 2 weeks, I used to go to salon on her account, not from my salary. And she used to pay me 1,500. That time was a lot of money. So I was able now to take care of my mother. I was happy now. And that is the year she stopped selling changa.
Oh, wow.
That is the year she stopped selling.
Is it because you started taking care of her?
I guess so. Yeah, because she started healing, because at least for once there's someone who can take care of her. And she gave her life to Christ at that moment. Yeah, that's that was in 1995. So I worked there, but they got a green card. They left to overseas.
Wow.
No, I didn't have a choice but to go where?
Back home.
Back home. And because I hated my home. I hated everything about our home. Yeah. I had to run away again. But this time I had money. And there's a lady who used to tell us, we used to school together, and she used to tell us, I have relatives in Nairobi and all that. She used to brag about it. Yeah. And I remembered, and I said, I look for her so that she can connect with her relatives in Nairobi
and get a job.
And get a job. Yeah. So I told her, I have bus fare, I'll pay for you. Just take me to Nairobi. Wow. And she agreed to it. And because her mother was strict, and my mom also couldn't allow me to go to Nairobi, and I've never been there before. So we did a trick, and we ran away. Wow. Wow. So this time we came to Nairobi. And now, remember when I was still in Mama Koi's house, I was so beautiful. Oh, yeah. I was looking good. So when I came to Nairobi, to find a job was not easy.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Because of the insecurity. Ladies used to tell me, with my husband, I keep you here. No, I can't. So it was hard to get a job. So my friend had to go back home.
And left you here.
And left me in Nairobi with her relatives. I had to maneuver my way, and I got a job in Nairobi West. That lady was also good. I can't say she was bad. She was a teacher, and she had a small nursery. So, but she molded me to be who I am today. That one I can say. Because she gave me a passion that I didn't know I have.
Which was?
Because when there are no teachers in school, because her kids were big. So after they leave to school, I didn't have anything to do in the after I do my house chores, then I would join her in the afternoon in school. Oh, wow. Or maybe before lunchtime, so that I can cook for the small kids.
Oh, I see.
And when there is no teacher, she used to tell me, get to class. This is what you are going to tell them. She writes it down, and she tells me, this is the lessons. Remember, I'm just that girl who never even
had school.
Yeah.
But you loved education.
Yes. Yeah. So she planted a seed. And because I had this passion, because I loved school so much, so I was doing it with passion. I wish these kids will get to better chances than me. Wow. So, but one day I was in that house, and they all left to work, but the husband was left behind. I didn't know he was left behind because she used to take care of her bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know there's someone inside there. So at around 10, this man came out from the bedroom. And he told me, you know what, take this money. He was like a tough guy, rough.
Yeah.
Take that money, go buy the soap, and then you come and put it in the bathroom. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I left to shop and I bought the soap. I came, I went straight to the bathroom. Kumbe, it was a trick. He wanted to rape me. So I went to the bathroom. I came with the soap. I went straight to the bathroom, only to open the door and find him naked.
What?
Naked as in
Yeah,
the way he
yeah.
was born.
Yeah.
And what I saw, I screamed. I dropped the soap. I screamed, and I ran away.
You ran away.
That's why I left that job.
Oh, there was
So
no communication?
There
You
were
didn't
no
even
phone.
talk to the
No, I
woman?
didn't even have a phone.
Yeah.
So I left, and I'm like, I'm outside there with sandals. I don't have a sweater.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go. I heard that we have relatives in Nairobi, but
Where they are?
yeah, I don't know how to get there to meet them. So I slept under the bridge that night. The following day, I started my normal routine of asking for jobs, for a house girl job. And I met this lady. She was going to work. She was a cleaner in a certain school, a school around there. The school is called Shrikachi in Nairobi West.
Okay.
It's near Waindi. So she told me, there's a lady, but I was shivering because of the cold throughout the night. And I thank God no one raped me.
Oh,
I hid under the bridge. Unaona zile kwa pila zile za chini hapo. Hakuna mtu aliniona.
And Pastor, at this point, you're still not born again?
No, I wasn't born again.
It's just the grace.
It's the grace.
Of God protecting you.
Imagine. I wasn't even going to any church. No. Because as a house girl, you join the church that these guys are going.
Yeah.
So me, I used to just be left at home.
Okay.
So I met this lady. She introduced. She told me, now because you're shivering, let me take you back to my place. Her house was not far from where I slept. She told me, go. I give you some tea, and then you change. You warm a bit. You freshen up, and then I'll come for you at 10. That was very early in the morning. It was around 6. Wow. So she told me, you just rest, and then I'll come for you.
And she trusted you.
Imagine a stranger.
Nairobi.
It is by the grace of God. So at 10 she came for me. I went and met this lady. She was called Wamboi, a very nice lady. She was a single mother of one boy. Okay. So when she saw me, remember I still have that glory from Mama Koi's home. So she told me, no, you look so beautiful. House girl is not your portion. And I'm telling you, you will remember me for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Because you're not going, my house will be the last one to work as a house girl. Wow. And for sure she meant it. Because she told me, choose what you want to do, a course maybe. And I told her, now which course? She told me, choose salon or dressmaking. I told her, dressmaking. I was not a fan of hair. Yeah. I don't know if it is because my mom that's what she was doing. But then she left and started from it. So I started my course, and she was paying it, not from my salary. She was paying from her pocket. Wow. I used to drop the boy in the morning, and then I go for my course. Then I leave around 2 p.m. I pass by the school, I pick the boy, we go home. That was the routine. Wow. So after I completed my course, she sought for a job in industry area. Wow. Yeah, and that's how I left her house. And I started working as a dressmaker. I worked for few months. We were living in Lunga Lunga slum. All right. Because the company is near Lunga Lunga.
So now you're living on your own?
Now I'm living on my own. With another girl. There was another lady we used to live. She was also a house girl. We met at the dressing making course. Oh, okay. And when I left, and she also left. So we were staying together. So I worked there, and I met. She introduced me to she had a boyfriend. So she introduced me to the friend of her boyfriend. Ooh. That's how I got pregnant. Oh, wow. I was still very young. That was 1998.
How old are you at this point?
I was 18 and some months. Yeah. And now I'm pregnant. So we didn't cope because it was not something that we had planned. Okay, I didn't like that guy. This was my first time guy, and I'm like, no. So, and I didn't abort my boy.
Yeah.
I gave birth to my boy in 1999 in June, and that's when I gave my life to Christ.
After giving birth to the boy?
Yes.
Wow.
That boy came with a blessing because I went through hell. Because remember, I was pregnant. I'm not able to work with the machines, the sewing machines.
Yeah.
So that the pregnancy was so I had a lot of issues with it. This is my first time. I've never. I don't know what is happening with my body.
Yes. You don't have someone to walk with you.
I don't have someone to walk with me. I can't tell my mother.
Yes.
No one saw me until I gave birth.
Oh wow.
Yes. So I was trying to hide, and then I hated, and I think that's what made me get into a wrong relationship because I hated. And I'm sorry to say this, I want to encourage someone out there. Be proud if you're a single mother. I didn't want to be called a single mother.
Ah, you hated
because
that
all my
tag.
sisters, those who are before me, they were all married with husbands. But here I am, I'm bringing a shame. Yani I'm the only one to have a child out of wedlock.
Oh, no.
So I hated that, but I loved my child so much. So when I went back to, when I gave birth to my son, I was so naive because even when I got to labor, I didn't know I was going to give birth.
Wow.
But I thank God I gave birth a few hours after I got to the hospital.
Yes.
And after that, because I was going for a clinic, normal clinic, but the last one. And there's a lady who used to tell me, when you are going, the last 3 clinics, bebangu was mtoto.
Yeah.
So that day I went to the clinic and they told me, wow, you are due.
Wow.
Can you rush to the hospital? I told them, how? You can pick a mat here because Makadara and Pumwani is not far. So I walked.
Oh.
I didn't have money to
take a mat.
So I walked to the hospital. So by the time I was getting there,
the water had broken.
The water had broken, and now the Nino was open kabisa.
Oh.
So I gave birth.
So it was literally you in.
I went straight to the labor.
Yeah.
And within 2 hours, I had my boy.
And at this point, you have no one to come help you out.
To come and help me. Actually, my neighbor, a lady who was a neighbor, is the one who realized I didn't come back from clinic, and she knew the only place I can go is Pumwani. So she came looking for me the following day, and she paid my maternity bill, my bill. Yeah, it was 1,200.
Good Samaritans.
Imagine.
She
She paid and picked me up. So after that, I gave my life to Christ. I remember I went to a crusade, Muiro crusade. That's where I gave my life to Christ. And I thank God from that point my life changed. Though I still had, you see, the series was still there.
Yes.
I left that job. I joined another company. It was nearby to our company, nice and lovely. I started working as a merchandiser. And my small boys at home. I had a house girl. So naenda kwa supermarket, I stand there. And then in the evening, I'm given my commission. I go home now that's how I left Tena, the dressing making job. So I got some few coins. I went to Rongai. Then Rongai, I didn't like the place. I then moved to Kahawa West. That's where I met this guy.
How old is your boy at that point?
That was 2000. He was one year. Around 1 year. Yeah, he was still very young. So I went and looked for a church in Kahawa West, and that's where I found this the man that now who married me. Yes.
And you were really eager to get married because for you the title, the tag, single mom is not something.
Single mom, I didn't like it at all. So when I found this guy who was so much willing to marry me and all that, I gave in. I gave in.
Yeah. And what were you doing in church that point? Were you serving?
Yeah, I was serving. I had this zeal. I had a lot of zeal without knowledge, let me say that. Because I was serving, I used to preach to the villagers. I used to do door-to-door witnessing alone. Yeah. So, and then I joined youth. You see, I'm still young. I was 20. Is it 20 or 21? Yeah, around there.
Okay.
So I joined youth. We used to do a lot in church. I joined intercessory group. We used to pray a lot. I had a lot of zeal for God.
For God.
Yes. So this guy, when we met, he had lost his wife.
Oh.
Barely 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was a widower. So the age gap was huge. Was a bit huge because our age gap was 16 years.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
And but you knew about the losing the wife?
Yes, I knew about the losing the wife because when we joined, the wife was very sick. And so when she died, we were the youths, they are the ones who goes there. We prepare for my embolezi and all that. So he spotted me. And,
all right.
And then I was also preaching as I was doing community preaching. I used to go up to Kibera also. Sometimes I could walk to Kibera. And I had a church, I started a church there, though I was still here in Deliverance, but Sundays I used to go there and preach to people. I had to look for a small room where I used to call people, preach to them, So this boy I met with the father. The father was a drunkard, and he was like, he had lost his wife. He lost when the wife died when she was giving birth to this boy. And the boy was retarded also, mentally retarded.
Okay.
He had epilepsy.
Okay.
So I used to take care of that boy also. So when I met this guy, I asked him if he can, if we are getting, because we didn't even date for long. It was 1 month, the following month I'm married. We didn't even do a wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because again, you didn't have mentorship then to know all these things.
Yes. And then I've never been in a family setup. So I don't know the process, what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, I knew it's wrong, but now this guy was pushing me a lot. Then I was like, when he told me he will pick that boy, I wanted to get married like tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I used to feel for him, because the father also died. Now that boy is there. Okay, I couldn't accommodate him in my house. You see, he's a sick boy.
Yes.
And my house was very small, and I'm with my son there. And this guy used to live in a very nice house.
Right.
So when he told me he will pick that boy, I was like, hey, then let's get married.
Even tomorrow.
Even tomorrow.
All right, we are going to take a break. In just a bit, we will be back to just know what happened again now that she was already moved in and now they are married. What happened to Pastor Jane? Do stay with us. This is Testify on Hope TV, where you look and live. You are still here with us on the station where you look and live. This is still Testify. You're still watching. We are with Pastor Jane Nganga. And Jane, now we are at the place where you've now moved in. Because I would say because also of compassion.
Yes.
Because of now this child that has been accommodated. So what happens?
After that, he was so good, so charming.
Wow.
The guy was so loving at that point, but he changed. I remember one point, we went to visit his mother, and his brother was there, his elder brother.
Wow.
And so I went with my 2 kids, the boy, my foster son, and my son, now to do introduction. And so the brother looked at him and said, oh, so you can't have a child of your own? Now see, you have married a woman with a mad child.
Mad child.
Because of my foster son. And the guy got so furious.
Wow.
He beat him up.
Beat the brother?
Yes.
As you watched?
As I watched, and as my children watched. But my son was very small. So I was like, what? Now this is a different version. This is something that I didn't expect from him. And I was like, I hope he will never do this to me. So the following week, I don't know what my son did, and he was really beaten. Then this retarded boy, my foster son, he also, because of his condition, because he was not able to talk fluently, and then he was not normal. You could tell that this is not our normal child. So he messed up in the toilet.
Yeah.
And the boy was really beaten. I thought he would kill him. I was like, what kind of a man is this? Then, like few weeks later, I don't know what I asked him, and I was beaten.
What?
All those red flags, but I ignored. That's why I'm saying I regret staying.
Yeah.
So I was like, what will happen? And remember, by the time he's doing all this, because I asked him, if you marry me, will you take me to Bible school? And he said yes. Because I could feel I have a passion, I have a calling, but I need some guidance.
Definitely.
So we had already sorted for a school, and we had done the bookings and registration and all that, and now this is happening. Now I'm confused. I don't know if I go to school and leave my children behind, what will happen. Yeah. So I requested him, I told him, because my sister had one child by then. I told him, can I take my children there? Then when I'm done with Bible school, I will come there and we proceed. He said, no, that is divorce. The day you decided to marry me, that's all. So you are leaving the children here. Yeah. I didn't have a choice. Remember, I'm still young. Yeah. And I'm not sharing with anyone what is happening. So I left to school, and that is the greatest mistake I ever did. Oh, no. Because this guy, I didn't know he had other spirits. He was like a pedophile.
No.
So he sodomized my son.
No.
And that time was around 2002, around there. And he sodomized my son, and I still believe that he did also to my foster son. So I joined school, and it was like normal routine of the academic years, whereby you go for 3 months, you go for holiday 1 month, and then you go back. So when I came back for the first holiday, which was in April, I found my son was very withdrawn. Not the charming boy that I left. I didn't, and I thought maybe, man, namchapanga sana. I asked him, does he beat you up? No, mom, no, he changed. So this is what he was told to tell me. Yes. Okay, when I tried to wash him, he's like, no, mom, I can wash myself. And remember, he's like 5 years. Yeah. I can wash myself. And I'm like, okay, wow, this is an achievement. Yes. So he used to go to the bathroom, and then when he comes out, I check on his neck, amejisugua vizuri, and I'm like, oh, he's okay. Yeah. Kumbe, the reason why he was told not to allow me to wash him anymore is that I don't see what happened to him. Yes. I didn't know that until last year. No. Last is when I came to know what happened. So, and this guy, remember, now that holiday, that's when I got pregnant. For my second child. Yeah. So I went back to school, I stayed there, and I graduated in November. When I came back, I was like, so now I don't have time again to think what is happening around. I gave birth in January, around 14th. Now January 14th, that's when I gave birth to my daughter. And this time, he had an ex, though he had told me about that ex. She left to UK. So this time, they're in communication more than before. Yeah. And now he started telling me, the lady started calling me. And she was like, what are you doing there? We agreed with Julius that he will never get married. We did a blood covenant. Now, even you will not stay. So I didn't get it, you see? And he started now beating me even when I was still pregnant. He used to beat me a lot. Wow. I gave birth to my daughter in January 14th. January 15th, 5 months after, I started a church. That's when I started a church. Right. Because I was ordained as a pastor in 2004. So I started a church, and we were doing well. My daughter was still young, but he used to beat me. At times I could go to church, and this lip is here. What? And you have to preach.
No. And then what do you tell people?
I tell people I had an accident in the house. And you see, it's a lie. You see, it's a lie. So, and I remember one time there's a lady who came. He used to beat me, and even the neighbors. When we get tukishazoeana na my neighbors, I tell him to hame. So I remember one time we decided, and this lady, one of my members was called by the neighbors, and she was told, you know what, Pastor wenu anauliwa. Pastor wenu atakufa. And this lady came, and she found me on the floor, kwa nimechapwa kabisa. And she told him, let me tell you, if you are a man enough, touch her again. And so, actually, she spoiled the whole thing because he said that I always share with the members what I'm going through, but I wasn't sharing with anyone. So 2006, I remember one night we were coming from Maombolezi. There was a Maombolezi somewhere, and our car broke. This lady had bought him a car, the girl in UK.
Oh, yeah.
And that car broke that night. And I remember I had left my daughter in the house. That time she was around 11 months. And I told him, he said, we'll stay in the car until morning. And I told him, no. Remember, I left my daughter. And then, this is very risky. Eastlands, it was around Eastlands. And he told me, no. He told me, no, we are staying here. And I told him, you know what? Our life is more precious than this car.
Yes.
So he said I abused him.
Ooh.
When we got home, he slammed my head against the wall. I fainted. I started bleeding on the floor. And that time I had other 3 more foster kids. And they were bigger than my son.
Yeah.
So they came, they asked him, Daddy, please don't stop beating her. And he used to tell them, this woman is so evil. She's so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, what I understand now, because, okay, I didn't know that time, but now I understand. I married a narcissistic disorder personality.
Oh, wow.
So because outside there he's so good. Even people who listen to this story and they knew him, they can think it's a lie. Outside there he's so good, but when he comes to the house, he's totally a different person. When we are walking or we visit families, he show them like the way we live together, we are so good.
Happy.
But when he get home,
everything changes.
Yeah, everything changes. So he used to tell my foster kids and even my kids, this woman is evil. So that night, that's when I got a problem. I started twitching on my eyelid. I went to the hospital. They told me, you have so much stress, you need to minimize.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell them it is true. Because the following day I was taken to the hospital, and I remember that hospital insisting, that doctor insisting, I want to know what exactly happened, because I was bleeding. I was not bleeding.
Yes.
And I told him what happened, and he told me, can I give you a P3 and you report this guy? I told him no. Because I knew I would report him and then I'd go back to the same house. And he used to tell me, if you want to leave my daughter behind. You can't go with my daughter. So she's actually the reason why I stayed in that marriage, because I couldn't imagine. I love my kids so much.
Yeah.
So after that, then he started, when my daughter came to know herself, she hated me so much because of what the man was telling
her about you.
And then he was also molesting her sexually.
No. Her, yes. His own daughter.
His own daughter. So, and I
and
remember
where are you, like, at this time you're still absorbed in ministry work, so when you leave them is when he's doing that?
Yes, it's when he's doing that. And again, he was not working.
Oh.
Because that 2006, he left his job. He was diagnosed with diabetes. And when he realized he's diabetic, he stopped working. So he's always at home. And I have to look for money because I'm the only sole breadwinner. So when I leave him with the kids, now he does this. And I couldn't know because he tried, he brainwashed them so that they can't tell me what is happening. And I remember 2011, we left Nairobi. I started a school. I had a school in Nairobi. I remember I was trained from, So I had a school in Nairobi, and then we got another one in Nyeri. We had to leave to Nyeri. So when we left to Nyeri, that's when he was still abusive.
Yeah.
He's sick, but still abusive.
Yeah.
So even in school, he used to meet parents, and he tells them, "Huku ndio mnaleta mtoto." Unaleta mtoto. That lady is not even learned.
Oh God.
Yeah, she's a class 7 dropout. So all of a sudden my school started going down. And even he used to sit down with the teachers and tell them, ile pesa mnalipangwa nayo ni ya umalaya. this woman is a prostitute. And then the teachers could come and they're like, I could tell the attitude have changed. So he really messed me up. So the school went down. And now it went down with a lot of, because I had banks facilities, because a big business like that, you can't operate on, you have to have loans here and there.
Yeah.
So the school one time went down. And I remember before it went down, initially every end of the year I used to do my supplies, like kununua chakula and all that. So 2015, I remember I had sought so many things, calendars, advertisement and all that. And then there's a guy who had alikuwa ametumwagia kuni za around 80,000. So the school, when I came back, because now I was struggling to pay the rent. So the manager, the owner, where I had leased the property, said he want back his school. I remember I have given out post-dated checks.
Wow.
One of them is this guy, Wakuni's 80,000.
Yes.
So this guy said, you can't go with my money, I will sue you. I told him, now this is the money, you can go and pick your hizo kuni zako, because now the school is normal. And remember that time he's telling me that now the bank, one of the banks, because I had 3 banks that I had loaned with, they came, they waka auctioned the school van, the computer lab and all that. The other one came and picked all our households. So we were left, we are there. And him is very sick, by the way. That time he was sick. Now he's in Nairobi. Because he used to go for sessions because he was also diagnosed with cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, in 2013. So he had sessions in Kenyatta every Tuesdays and Fridays.
And that's money.
And I was the one providing, none of his family members, and I wish they can stand here and say it, from his side, because my father-in-law had 2 wives. So this family, yenye amezaliwa, no one supported me, but at least this other one used to stand with me. But what happened now? The school went down. We don't have anything. We are now scattered because he was left. He's in Nairobi. The mother lives in Nairobi. He's at home in Kahawa West. I have 2 kids. I don't know where to take them. I had another foster son who had completed school, and now he was working as alikuwa anafanya kazi ya boda. And now my 2 kids. So we had to split. Kila mtu kando. I used to live with another lady in Ngara. And she gave me accommodation just as an individual, not as a family. She told me, it's you who is my friend, not your kids, not your husband. Now, after 3 months, this guy who said he will sue me, he did. So my daughter I had taken my daughter to another school in Narumoro called Shalom Schools. The owner is called Kehage, a very nice guy, because he took my child, and now that pressure ikanisha. Another lady called Anne, Blue Ribbon Secondary School in Thika.
Took your son?
Took my son. So this boy died. The one who was doing boda, he was shot by thugs and died. So as I was going to pick my girl from school so that she can come and bury, because she didn't know he's not a biological brother.
Oh, wow.
So as I was going to pick her, when I landed in Nyeri, I got arrested.
Oh.
This guy had sued me.
What?
I got arrested. I'm like, what have I done? And they're like, you will know. So unajua mapolisi ndio wanakuambia ukifika mbele utajua. And for sure I found that guy seated there looking at me like, yeah,
I told you.
So I was arrested. Nimewekwa cell. I'm like confused. The other boy is in the mortuary. My daughter doesn't know what is happening. My son had told my son, but now my daughter, now I'm like, and the burial is on Tuesday.
Like you're barely holding anything together.
Yes.
And your husband is?
And my husband is sick. Very sick. So I'm there, I'm like, I remember the family had told me, because they hated me so much, but now I came to realize it is my husband who was spoiling my name in their family. So that we were told not to step in that home. So I'm here, I'm like, now what do I do? Na nimewekwa cell. The following day, Kotini. Kotini, Kingongo prison.
No.
Yes. And the boy is in the mortuary. I thank God for good friends because they came through for me. Akina Kehage, Grace Wamidi Chaka School, so many people. They came through for me. They changada na wakanilipia ile cash bill.
Oh, okay.
Nikatoka. So kutoka, we went, we buried the boy. After that, now life is now to face life.
Yeah.
I came to, now we don't have a home. So one of my friends asked me, what can we do for you? Because now, Jane, you are going through a lot. Until marafiki wanakutoroka, it's like you are a curse.
Yeah.
You are under curse. So I told them, now, the only thing I need here, I want my family back together. So if you can rent me a house, and so that my son and my daughter, when they close school, they come to their home. And then my husband, I pick her from, because he was still suffering at his mother's
place.
Yeah.
So at this point, has he changed his attitude?
Now he's sick. Now but he's still the same person.
But he's sick. At
because
least
I remember when now they bought us, God bless Joe Sakari and your wife, they bought us everything, as in vitanda, TV, whatever.
Everything.
So I was so excited to invite my husband back home. Remember, my kids are still in school.
Yes.
But it was very like 1 week before
closing.
So I asked him, come and see where we have our home. So when he came home, I remember he's still sick, but he can still walk, but he had really grown thin.
Yeah.
When he got to my place, he was like, who bought you all this? You malaya utaacha lini?
What?
And that time I got furious. I think that's when my deliverance came. Because I decided, I remember I was in the bathroom. He knew Zimmerman vizuri kabisa. So I told him where the house is and the number. And I left the door like that because I was in the bathroom. I told him, ukikuja, fungua tu nitakuwa bathroom. Ndio ukikuja tupike, tukule and all that. So alikuja amenipata bathroom. Mimi naoga ananiambia, madam, he used to call me madam. Hiyo malaya utafanya mpaka lini? Hizi vitu zote umeafford aje? Lazima kuna mwanaume kwa hii nyumba. Anakufanyia hizi vitu. Na mimi niko kwa bathroom nasema, now what do I do?
Yeah.
But something came in and I told myself, he will never beat me again. He will never beat me again. So I came out of bathroom, nimejifunga towel. Sasa anafungua milango yote. It was a 1-bedroom house. Anatafuta mwanaume. So when I came out of the bathroom, I told him, you know what, daddy? Na nikaweka maji kwa bucket. Nikamwambia, you know what? Hautanichapa tena. Hautawahi nichapa tena. Sasa nimekataa. You see, you have never told me that before.
Wow.
Kuna powers from behind and maybe it's a man. So when I was coming, I went to the bedroom to change. When I was coming out of the bedroom, I found him holding a speaker, one of the speakers. Tuko tumenunuliwa ufa. So tule tu speaker tudogo, and he was waiting for me to hit me with it. And he did. What? Then I said, okay, I had planned to kumumwagilia maji, but sasa siwezi. So the best thing is to run away.
Yeah.
Padlock was on the table, so I picked the padlock, and when I was running out, I think he read my mind because I wanted to go to the police and call them to come and at least wamshike.
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
Yes.
But that day, that's what I thought. So I came out. Remember, I'm also depressed.
Yes.
I've gone through a lot. Nimetoka jela, nimefanya nini, nimepoteza vitu. So hata mimi kuna enga imeamuka. Na nimeamua sitachapwa tena.
Yes.
So that's when he akaniambia, this mama hautaishi. Nitakuharibia jina. He used to fellowship at Deliverance Church. So he went to Deliverance Church, and for sure he told people things. Nimeenda kwa hiyo nyumba, nimepata mwanaume, wamenichapa na huyo mwanaume.
What?
Yeah, so akaniharibia jina kabisa. Even today there are people from that church that they can't even greet me.
What?
They see me like a filthy rag. So, but I forgave them. I forgave everyone. So, because of that commotion, he got really sick and he didn't make it. In July that same year, he died in 2016.
Oh, so did you keep on living with him?
No, he left. He got sick actually after 2 days, because he left that day and he went back to his mom's home.
Okay.
2 days he got really sick. We were still talking. Imagine us, we used to fight 1 minute and the next minute we are together. So we started talking. And he told me, wow, madam, I'm really sick. So That's how he got also tena admitted.
Yes.
And from that point, he didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
He went down, 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 down.
Deteriorated.
And yeah, but I took care of him 150%.
To the very last day.
To the very last day. Remember, I'm still I'm the only one who does this.
Yes.
And of course, his brother, the step-brother.
Yeah.
And some families from the other side. So he died.
Wow. And
that same year, my started got into depression. He started doing drugs.
Your son?
My son.
Yeah.
So he joined university. The same year the dad died, that's when he joined university. He couldn't cope because of the effects and the drugs and all that.
Yeah.
He dropped. That was 2017, 2018. He came to quit in 2019.
Wow.
One morning he told me, Mom, you know what? I've taken you through hell on earth and I'm ready to quit drugs. And for sure he changed from that point.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Wow.
2019, my daughter also got into depression.
Wow.
And hers was bad because she was self-harming. Kujikatakata.
Oh, gracious. And all this, could you trace it back to what they went through?
I didn't know what was happening. I used to ask them, what is happening? And they're like, you know, they can't tell me. They don't know also to hurt me. So my daughter also got into it. She changed. She withdrew. She became a totally different person. The girl I used to know. And I was like, because I've been there with my son now, I realized now my daughter is also in it.
Yes.
So I remember last 2020 when Corona came and we were told to go and pick our children.
Yes.
So when she came home, and I used to go there, remember she was brainwashed by the father to hate me.
Yes.
That seed is still operating.
Yeah.
Because she used to write letters to the dad and tell him, Father, Dad, I wish I can come where you are. I hate Mom.
Wow.
I don't know what to do.
Wow.
We can't cope.
Yeah, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
You know, as you used to tell me,
yeah, she's evil.
This woman is evil.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I used to read those notes. You imagine how I used to feel.
Must be so painful.
It was very painful. So, and when I go for visiting or something, an occasion in school, she used to hide. Yeah, she didn't want to see me.
Oh.
Now she's in depression now. I remember that time when Corona came and she came home. And one time we were watching a movie. It was about depression. And she told me, Mom, you know what? I've tried to commit suicide so many times. You see what I've done to myself? So that's when she showed me the hand. And I could tell, oh my goodness, these are the things that we see on TV, on movies. Now it's happened to my daughter. I really cried. I hugged her. I told her, you know what, Mom? It doesn't matter how much you hate me, but me, I love you so, so much.
What?
I took her photo. Now my son had left. When he recovered, he started business. He's a very work-harding boy. He had left. He had a business in Kahawa West. So I called him. I told him, come and see what your sister is happening. So when he came, he told me, you know what? There must be a trigger for this. You see, for him, he understands what he went through and the reason why he was there.
Yeah. Your daughter comes to, you're watching a movie with your daughter.
Yeah.
She says to you, see what I've been doing to myself.
Yeah, so she showed me her hand. And I see how deep she had the cuts. And I was like, I really cried.
Yeah.
I was like, God, why? When will I get over this?
And at this point, you're crying as she sees you.
Yeah, she was there.
Oh.
I hugged her and I told her, you know what, my daughter, I love you so much. I love you so, so much. And I took a photo. And then I sent to the brother. I told him, you see what your sister has done to herself? And so I told him to come. He had a business in Kahawa West. After he recovered, he started doing business. So he came and he told me, you know what, Mom? There's a trigger to this. Yeah, this is not this. There must be something very deep.
Yes.
About this. So that's when I had to sort a counselor. The lady who was working with my son, called Counselor Mary, is the one I also took my daughter to. And she started the counseling with her. That was now 2020, 2021. No, the same year she told me now, how can I flash all these memories? And I used to ask her, what memories? And she can't.
See, okay.
Yeah, because she was telling me, I feel empty. I feel a lot of pain, the pain that I can't explain. So remember, when she came to teenagehood, that's when the memories of what the dad was doing started, and she realized, no, what he was doing to me was wrong.
Yes.
Of which he was telling her, it is because I love you. That's why I do all this.
Wow.
So, and that was fake love. So she was like, I'm feeling a lot of pain in my heart and I feel empty. There's a void in me that I can't explain. So, so we shifted, we had to relocate from Ruaka. I thought that changing the environment will help her. So we changed from Zimmerman to Ruaka. But things didn't work. She was in a public school. I decided maybe it's because of the public school. I took her to a private school.
Yes.
Things didn't change.
Wow.
So I told her, remember all this time I'm also suffering because of the nerve compression.
Yes.
Because of what happened when I slammed my head against the wall.
The wall, yeah.
So I'm also on medication. I'm always on medication.
Yes.
Because people thought that I had stroke. They could tell my mouth is going on the side and the eyes twitching.
Twitching.
So when I changed the school to a private school, things didn't change much.
Yeah.
So I remember and she was still going through counseling. It reached to a point she told me, now I want a father figure, a counselor who is a father figure.
Yes.
So I had to look for a guy, counselor.
Yes.
They were alternating with Counselor Mary.
Yeah.
So that's when she told him
what
happened. And this time this counselor told her, now this one is not the things that we keep.
Yeah.
This one we can't keep. Now you choose to tell your mother or I tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one you need to work with. For you to come out of this now, you need to work with your mother.
Yeah.
And she told him, no, I'll go share with I will share with my mom. She came and I remember she came home very excited. She told me, Mom, there's something I want to tell you. I have gone through a lot.
Wow.
I told her, what happened? What is it? She told me, you know what? This and this and this, what happened?
Oh.
Maria, I felt like
Oh my
I wish I
God.
can die. So when she told me that, she felt, because I think she realized I have been affected. And she's decided now, why did I tell her? I wish I never even shared with the counselor because I don't want. Now she started loving me. But still there was that spirit, that disconnection was still there. So I told her, and we slept on the same bed that night. She told me, Mom, I can't sleep alone.
Yes.
Let me share with you. So the following day, she was going back to, that was on Friday, the Sunday she was going back to school. So Saturday, as we do shopping and everything the previous day, so that the very day we are going to school, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So that day I told her, you pack, I go to the supermarket and buy the items that you need.
Yes.
She was waiting for me to go outside and kill herself.
Oh no.
So she took the kitchen knife and she cut the list like this.
Yeah.
She was targeting the main vein here.
Yeah.
Now she was doing it in the toilet so that I don't see the traces, the blood.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I didn't know, and she had a hoodie, the long sleeves hoodie. I didn't know what she has done. And then the medication I was taking, the nerve medication called gabapentin, 600 mg per tablet.
Wow.
It's a capsule. She took 30.
What?
30 of them.
Wow.
So in the evening, I'm looking for my medication. I can't see, because I used to take one per night.
Yeah.
Sioni dawa. And I thought, okay, maybe I misplaced, I don't know. The following day, we prepared. We used to go for lunch before we go to school. So we went for lunch, just the two of us. But when I paid and then we are there seated for food to be brought, she started going like this. She told Mama, I'm feeling dizzy. I am not feeling well. And her eyes were red, the effect of the drugs that she took, the medication.
Oh, we have to pause there for a minute. I mean, this story has to go on because not only is Pastor Jane healed from these things, but also she has ministry to bring out, because maybe there's a parent out there who's going through the same, or you don't know what's probably disturbing your children, or maybe you're going through gender-based violence as we are speaking right now. This is also a moment of healing. So please stay with us for part 2 of the same.